time, but this is the January to June, not June to July, but January to June mini catalog. It's got lots of fun stuff in it. And tonight I'm going to be working with the Dandy Garden Suite. This is actually a feature on my webpage this week. And most of the projects that, well, not most of them, I did a couple blogs that were from a free stamp set, but all the projects that I'm doing tonight, and then my YouTube video for tomorrow is going to actually, well, by the time the YouTube people see this, it would be this past Wednesday. But it is going to be using these products as well. It is such fun stuff. When I first saw it, I wasn't really sure if I liked it. We did this at Onstage, and I ordered the papers because this is what we were going to be using, and I'm thinking a whole stamp set of dragonflies, a whole package of paper with dragonflies, I don't know. But you know what? I love it, and it's got lots of really cute things and cute designs, and I'm finding fun ways to use this paper and use the stamp set. There's also this Memories and More pack, and if you are a scrapbooker, these are fantastic. If you do like calendars, you know, that you accent and posters and different things, these are fantastic. They're great for cards as well. But these are really good for if you're doing memory books. They have all sorts of sayings. There's bees. There's Black-Eyed Susans, I think is what those are called. And then they have different sayings like this is perfect for a scrapbook, or if you have a calendar that you post these sort of things for. They have these smaller ones. They have areas where you can actually journal on them, and they're double-sided. But then there's also these larger ones, and these are great. Like you could post a picture in this and put it in a Memories and More type book. And I actually saw a demonstrator. Her name is Tina Zink, I believe. She created a memory book out of using these, and they were fantastic. Look, there's stickers and things too, and little sentiments and sayings. These are perfect for calendar books as well. And then there are also these cute little envelope and cards. And I'm actually going to be using these pretty soon with some designs. I'm thinking about actually using them for my next online card class to go. So let's get started. I will show you, these are the Dandelion laser cut papers, and they are in the catalog. And I'm going to be using these a lot tonight. So there's not as many of these there's not as many in them, duplicates, as there are in the gold laser cut that goes with the Forever Fern. But they're really some cute designs. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So I saw this particular technique done a while ago, and I had never tried it until I sat down and decided, you know what, I'm going to do that myself and see how it goes. What technique, you may ask? It's this one. Hi, Datra. And what I'm going to do with this is I am going to take a piece of the Whisper White. Well, it is Whisper White. Now you have to purchase basic white, but this was already cut from Whisper White. And it's already cut from the Stitched So Sweetly piece. I wanted to use something similar to this, but this was the only one in that package that was this large. So I thought, I'll make do with this one instead, because I wanted to show you how I made this card. It's color blocking. So the first thing I'm going to do to prep it is to take some washi tape, and I'm just going to go along the edge. I'm going to just go just on this side of that stitch mark, and I'm going to try to do it evenly for both of them, about like that. This is old, and it keeps tearing, so I'm going to have to be very tender with it. All right, so just put this right across the top. This is one of those days with doing lives that I'm just going to have to breathe and not let my perfectionist self have a fit over things not working perfectly. And it's going to be okay. My perfectionist self likes things done a certain way, and I don't like it when they don't work right. And you know what? It's just going to be all right, I reckon. Okay, I think I'm going to go in this order. So I'm going to use my little block. I think this is the G block. And I'm going to go ahead and ink that up like that. And then I'm going to spray it. I have a spray bottle, and I'm going to take it off to the side. I'm going to spray it twice because I want it to be really good and wet. So see how it kind of puddles up there? Then I'm going to put it right down in here on top of my paper. And I'm going to hold it a second because I want to make sure that it's in there. Hopefully I have it pretty well. Okay, I'm going to wet it again. I'll try to line that up right there at that one little piece. Wait. Yeah, let's see if that'll do it. Hopefully it's lined up. And it didn't do it. Okay, let me spray it again. It might be because that washi tape is there. Okay, and I'm okay that it's a little lighter there than the other places. And then I'm just gonna wash it off. Let me see if I can get my computer, if I can refresh it and it'll come back. All right, now I'm gonna use the Calypso Coral, and it did, yay. Okay, good. I'm gonna use the Calypso Coral, and I'm gonna spray it twice. And then I'm going to come in here like this and just hold it for a second. Okay. Woo! That's really wet, I think. Hopefully it'll be okay. And then I'm going to come in with my Bumblebee, and I'm going to spray it twice. And I'm going to bring it in. It's going to be covered up with dragonflies, so it's not going to be a big deal. If it's spread, if it's a little shorter than other places, there's going to be a sentiment on it, so it's really not going to be that big of a deal. Although I would like it to be a little bit more right in there. Let's see. Okay, that's a little more. It's more wet that way too, though. Okay, and now I'm going to use the Old Olive. I'm going to spray it a couple times. And then I'm going to put it down. Just like that. Okay, and it's just that easy. Now I'm going to let that sit and let it dry before I do anything with it. I'm going to keep I'm going to bring in the Memento Black ink and get these out of the way so I don't make a mess. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going with a completely different color. You can see this is what I did here. I'm going with Misty Moonlight for this one. And let me get my bone folder out. Y'all, it's one of those days. Okay, just going to burnish this. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm taking this off because I'm gonna lift it up and just kind of let it dry a little bit so the back can get dry. Look at that, aren't those pretty colors? I like it. Okay, just kind of wave it a little bit. And then I'm going to use crumb cake. For this one, I used Sahara Sand. I'm going to use crumb cake, and then this is a piece of the designer series paper from that Dandy Gardens. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. I'm not going to secure it in place yet because I'm going to use some twine around it. So I'll go ahead and put this on just like this. And I'm going to take my, let's see, what color should I use? I think I'm going to use a Calypso Coral Dragonfly. And I think I will use maybe a maybe the green one. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out just a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to cut out or to punch out. And I will do this one as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and punch these out while that is still drying. So I'm going to use the red one. Hang on a minute. I don't want to ruin that one, so I'm just going to put it to the side. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. I love that these papers are, that you can actually just punch them out and use them for your card. I really like that about them. Let's see. I don't want to ruin that little one, so let's see if I can feed it in there with as little bit of space as I have. I will use my Take Your Pick tool, the putty side, and just kind of put that in place right about like this. There we go. Maybe move it up just a little bit more so I have some space around the wings. I used to chase dragonflies when I was a kid. Loved it. And I got a piece of paper stuck in there. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to cut out one of these tiny ones, I think. I think I'm going to do this little blue one right here. They fit right inside this punch as well. Okay, so put that off to the side. I think this is probably, it's getting there. It's almost there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap my twine around it. And I will use my glue dot to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a glue dot on the back. Your phone died, Thatra? Yeah, our internet, I don't know what's going on with it. It works fine for the most part, but our computers drop from it just sporadically. And my computer had dropped from it, and I couldn't tell if my phone was doing it as well, because that's what I'm recording from. So that's why I was wanting to know. All right, so I want to save on my stuff. So I put a glue dot on each side. Now I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to stick it there on that glue dot again, bring it back around through here and do it again. Then that way I didn't have to wrap it around all the way. So I was able to conserve on my twine there. Put it together a little closer. Now I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I got that really wet earlier, but it's going to have a really nice look to it. When I first did this one, I was kind of like, I don't know about that. But once I got it on, and then I got the dragonflies in place, I really liked it. So I have a feeling I'm going to really like this one too. So let's go ahead and put this here. And you know, if you don't have these particular dies, or if you don't have those right there, you can just cut a rectangle. It's not a big deal. And it would look really nice too. There's always a way. Okay. Make sure. I'm glad I checked. I would have put it upside down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in a piece of crumb cake with black memento and just ink up my sentiment. You are an inspiration. Hopefully I will have this level and not crooked. I can't see, so all right, that works. I'm going to bring in my little mini trimmer, and I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. I love this little trimmer. I use it all the time. Okay, I do want to trim a little bit off the top because it's a little crooked there, and a little bit off the bottom, just a tiny bit. And I will just about be done with my first card. Although I am going to trim a little here. Okay. All right, I will put dimensionals on the back of it. Okay. I'm going to get it in place, and then I will add my dragonflies last. I really like these colors together, though. So I'm going to put it like that. And I'll use larger dimensionals on the back of the larger dragonflies. And then for my tiniest one, I will use a mini behind it. Okay. All right, so just take those backings off. And let's see where we go with this. I know I want to put this here, right in there. And I think I want to come with here on this one. And I'll come up under here with this one. And you can kind of push the little wings together and it gives it a little bit more, you know, dimension to it. But isn't that cute? It might be a little close to my sentiment. There we go. That's much better. Isn't that cute though? And I'm not even going to add anything to it. Hi, Suzanne. I'm not even going to add any embellishments or anything like that to it because I feel like it's enough between these kind of popping out with the dimension of them and then having the twine on it. I feel like that's enough, but look how cute those are. And so this is from the Dandelion laser cut. They only had one that was full. And so I used that and then just kind of altered the card by using the Stitched So Sweetly. Love this. And I love this technique of just using your block and putting ink and then spraying it and making it wet. Takes a little longer because it has to dry, but that's okay. This is another one of the laser dies. And I love this. I think it is so pretty. And what I'm going to do for this one, I should have put this together already. I forgot to. All right, so I'm going to give you a little hint. With these cling stamps, if they stick too hard, just take your pick tool and you can lift it right up at the corner. I'm going to grab some garden green ink real quick. You can also, if you don't have the same color as your paper, you can use Versamark ink and that will darken it up as well. So I'm just going to just do a few here and there. You can do that, or you could actually, you could emboss this piece. It's going to go up under that laser cut piece. I just wanted to have a little bit of something under there. Okay. Thank you, Kay. All right, so for this, I think what I'm going to do, because I would kind of like for it to sit up a little bit, I think I'm going to use glue dots. Let's see what I did with them. I may have to actually get another one, but I think I'm going to use glue dots just right behind here because it does kind of lift it up a little bit. And I'm going to like close them together on themselves, and that will add a little bit of dimension there as well. I don't necessarily want it to be as high up as a dimensional, but this will add a little bit of depth to it, although not too much. Okay, you can glue this down if you want to. It's really a preference thing, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, I'm going to add another one to this big leaf here. And I think I'm going to try to maybe put one at the top and bottom and them not be seen. Hopefully I can do that. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm going to like that. There we go, just like that. Yep, it lifts it up just a little bit, but not too much. And then you don't have to, because some of these places, like the leaves are the only place that you would even be able to put a mini dimensional. And if that's not enough, you can roll them up and put them as many places as you want under there. And I may do that. I may secure it a little bit more, but I'm just about out of these glue dots and I would have to get up. So now I do want this to be up a little bit higher. I'm not going to put it down just yet though. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment first. And I should have plated these up ahead of time. I didn't know which all ones I was going to use until I kind of sat down and just decided to go with it. So I love using this mat that has the grid on it because it really does help me to line my stamps up. So I love the see-through blocks as well. Now I can't put my head over it or you're going to see my noggin. So hopefully I have that straight. And probably what I will do, I'm going to put it on, and then if it doesn't match, if it's not lined up, then I'll do it on the other side. Because you know our paper is, ooh, I did pretty good. Our paper is double-sided. You got to love that about it. All right. What else was I going to do? I think that was it. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. Okay. This is going to be a super, super easy, simple card. Really not much to it at all. Let's see. I think I'm going to use some white to go around it. I really liked the idea. I love monochromatic. Where did I get my black mat? I think it came from Amazon. Pretty sure that's where I got it from. I love a monochromatic look. And hold on. Let me make sure that I have it just right. Yeah, okay. But I wanted a little bit, I wanted to add white and then pair pizzazz to this, just for a little bit of something extra. And this is a trick I learned from one of the videos that I watched. You can still add dimensionals to this if you put them where they're not here. So I'm going to trim this off just a little bit. I don't want it quite that long. So what I'll do is I'll put some dimensionals on this and I'll place it where these are not. And then that way it still won't be too tall to go through the machine at the post office. All right. So you're probably wondering, what is she doing with that? I'm trying to figure out where I want it. I think I want it to be like this right here. So I'm going to do a bow over here. And I tucked it up under, but I did not secure it in place so that I would be able to move it around, or even if I didn't like it, that I could move it. I think I'm going to like it though, to the left right here, and then my sentiment right there. So what I'm going to do is my other little trick with glue dots. I'm going to secure my baker's twine in place with my glue dot. And it's like having another hand. So I'm just going to put that in place right there. So now instead of having to do this number, you know, like when you're tying your shoes when you're little and you have to, oh, I know what else I'm going to do. I'm going to do something a little different. When you're tying your shoes when you're little, it's like you have to have 3 hands to do it. So I'm going to do a little bit different kind of a bow. And I'm just going to kind of wrap it like this. And I'm going to bring it together here. And it even kind of sticks there with that little glue dot. I do this when I'm wrapping presents for Christmas. It's just a little bit thicker doing it that way. I don't know if it's going to look right to do it with a bow on top. I don't think so. I think what I'll do is just double knot it. Yeah, I like that extra right there. So I will just bring this down like this and trim these off. Those darn little, I find these things all over the place. One day, I have a little 3-pound Chihuahua. She walked up to me and had one of the mini ones on her nose. It was so funny. Okay, let me get that tail out of the way. I'm gonna stick this right here. Just like that. And again, I'm not gonna put any embellishments on it. I think that that is perfect just the way it is. Isn't that pretty? This is such pretty stuff here. And it really makes a very simple and pretty card. Very, very pretty. I like that. Okay, so that's my second card. I'm gonna do one more and then I will show you some that I have already made. Okay, this is some more of that gorgeous paper. I love it. Of course, blue is my favorite color. And Misty Moonlight, it just checks all the boxes for blue for me. It's probably my favorite blue that we have in the catalog. And I'm gonna use the heck out of it between now and the time it has to go away. And so I have cut this at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm gonna go ahead and just glue it in place. I love the die cuts and these laser cut things for this particular suite. Okay. Now, when I do one that covers the whole thing, I like to put it on and then just kind of bounce it to make sure that I got it all in all the right places. And I love this look of not necessarily layering, but just covering the whole thing. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kay. Okay, so, and then I'm going to use this on top of here. I don't know if I'm going to do a dimensional yet. I probably am, but I'm not sure yet. So, okay, so here are some of the dies that I cut out. And what I did was I cut all the little pieces out first. And, you know, I just didn't like the way it looked. And so what I did instead, see the little holes in the back? I didn't like that. So what I did instead, I just kind of measured it and I saw that this is it's 1 1/2. So I just punched out, I used my punch and just cut out a 1 1/2 inch punch. And so then you can build on top of it and you can see the dimension of all of this. You can see all the different pieces, but it's not hollow back there in the back. Now, the other thing I did was I cut out a 1 1/2 inch in Bumblebee. And then I cut a base of that in Bumblebee. And then the rest of them I cut out using the designer series paper. And this turns out super cute too. And I thought about, instead of just using all white on here, because you know I do like monochromatic, but instead of using all white, I thought about doing it like this and then there's another one that goes with it right there. Adding this to it and then, you know, having these and then my little sentiment. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that it's not enough. And if I were to do that, I probably needed to have maybe a green leaf with it to just kind of pull it all together. So I'm going to save this and use this for another card. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this. And I'm going to glue it to my 1 1/2 inch. Yeah, it is a 1 1/2 inch, just like this. And I'm going to end up cutting a good bit of that off. Let me get this out of the way. And then I'll put this one. I'm only going to do it on the center of the rest of these. And I want to like stagger them like you do with the daisy punch. That it kind of, you can't really stagger it too much, but let me get this other stuff out of the way. It doesn't really match up completely, but hey, I did a pretty good job there. And then here's the next one. And then you're going to go in between the other petals on these and try to keep it. And I think the deal is if you put it right in the center, you can pretty much get it in between all those different little petals. Okay, I'm going to put this one on in the center. Okay. All right. I love Tombow because it sticks really well, but it lets you shift things too. So now I'm just going to kind of pull those up a little bit so it'll end up having a little bit of dimension to it. I'll use my, take your pick. And that will end up looking really nice like that. I have really enjoyed the set so far. And for somebody who, when we were doing our convention, our virtual convention, and we got to choose this so that we could craft with it, I looked at it and I thought, oh, I don't know about that now. I don't know about a whole thing of dandelions and dragonflies. But you know what? I ended up really liking it. Okay, let me get my stamp, my chamois, so I can clean that. Alrighty. Now I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight. And this is going to end up going across like this. And this is very much like a card that's in the catalog, but I just kind of changed it up a little bit. Now I'm going to put it, I think, right there in the center. So I'm going to just put my finger there so I know where to put it. I'm just going to say thank you for your kindness. Oh, it's a little crooked. Let's try that again. That's better. That's a little better anyway. Okay. So I do think I am going to put this up with dimensional. So let me do that real quickly. My husband created some music for me in GarageBand, I think it is, so that whenever I'm fast forwarding through things on my videos, my YouTube videos, that it's acoustic guitar music playing. And it's so cool. But on these lives, you can't fast forward. And I'm thinking, oh, this is so boring watching me peel backs off of dimensionals. Okay. I am going to put one dimensional on the back of this. And remember, if you put it where there's not a dimensional, you're safe and you'll be okay. So I'm just going to put one in the center right here, because I do want that to kind of stand up a little bit. And I'm going to put this one, hold it with my thumb where I want it to be. I'm going to add a little bit of glue just on those little tips there. And I'll add some to the stem, and then I'll add more in a second. I don't want to add too much because I don't want it gushing out everywhere, but I want enough where it's going to stay in place. And it will stay in place because I'm going to end up putting this across it anyway. So, but I wanted that to be a little bit higher than the dandelion. I'm going to add a little bit of glue behind it, like that. Okay. Now I'm getting sticky. Okay, and then I'm going to add one there. This reminds me of when I used to do flowers with a friend. She owned a flower shop in Illinois, and this was when I lived in St. Louis. And I worked full time, but I would go over on Saturday, and it would be like therapy. And I would make boutonnieres and sprays for funerals or for weddings and bouquets. And oh, it was so much fun. And it was like therapy for me. I loved it. Okay, I'm going to trim off the edge here, and I don't trust my eye to be straight across. So I'm going to add a dimensional on this side, and I'm going to put it a dimensional right here. And what I'm going to do then is just go ahead and place it in place like this. Let me go down just a little bit, just a wee bit. Like that. That's crooked. Okay. So then I will turn it over then and just trim it right in here like this. I also saw where my paper was just a tiny bit wider. And so really all you have to do is do the same thing. You just go along and just trim that off ever so gently. And then you'll never see that overlap because it's so hard to get it absolutely perfect. I mean, you can cut it one time and have it absolutely perfect and then cut it again and you might have just a smidge off from the line or whatever, and then it ends up not being the exact size. So I'm thankful that it's pretty easy to correct. All right, so then I'm just going to trim these off about right here and about right here. And then I'm gonna do the old glue dot trick again because, you know, these are popped up just a little bit on top of here. So I'm just gonna roll that glue dot and put it up under here like this, and it will give it a little bit of elevation, and yet it won't show at the same time. Hopefully it won't show at the same time. If it does, I'll tuck it. There we go. There we go, that's perfect. And I'll put one under here. Okay, isn't that pretty? I really like that, very pretty. I should have done it a little bit over right here, and I'll probably redo that because, you know, the perfectionist in me, but I really like the looks of this. Okay, so here's the ones that I did tonight. This one, this was my inspiration. I think I like this one just as much as I do this one, although I really do like that piece. This is the second one that I did, and you can see that I've used the dies, and these laser cuts are just fabulous. I really, really like them a lot. And then this is, whoops, this is the third one. Okay, so here are a couple that I made on my own. This is one that we did at my last card class, and it's super, super easy. You just use blends to do that, and then these are 1 1/4 by 5, and you just put them in there together. There's no gap in between each one of those, but it's almost kind of like a continual that goes across, you know. I really didn't want a gap to be there, but you do have the cover, the misty moonlight that shows in the background. So I really like this one. And you know what? When I first saw these two, I'm like, oh, it looks like a tick. But they're really cute, these little ladybugs. They really are cute. I haven't overly used them, but you know, I probably could put a ladybug here. I have them out. I probably should have put one on. I really like this one. And this one is also one that was similar to one that in the catalog. I just changed it up a bit and changed colors, changed how I did it, and all of that. Changed the designer series paper, flipped the layout of it. And this is really cute. And I like the shadow of this off to the side like that. These bees are adorable too. So that is it. If you are not already a demonstrator, or if you are looking for one and you would like to have a catalog, let me know and I will get one out to you. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great night. Bye.